Halyna Gutierrez Reed has been found guilty for her part in the tragic Rust incident. This trial has been gripping audiences around the world for the past couple of weeks, but we finally received a verdict from the jury. Jurors announced that 26-year-old armorer Halyna Gutierrez Reed has been found guilty of involuntary manslaughter of cinematographer Halyna Hutchins. Prosecutors explained that Gutierrez's constant failures in basic firearm safety were completely negligent. There was no reason for the armorer to bring these live rounds onto the set, and the proper checks were not performed prior to rehearsal. The prosecutors also revealed that these live rounds were on set for 12 days leading up to the incident, but they were never discovered. This only confirmed that industry standard safety checks were not being performed, and could also mean that there are more guilty parties involved in the case. Shocking still photos from the set also showed actors pointing loaded firearms at each other as well as the crew members. One of these photos even showed Gutierrez pointing one of the firearms at her own head, and the crew were very lucky that there weren't any more casualties. Prosecutor Carrie Morrissey described the situation as a game of Russian roulette for those 12 days the live rounds were on set. Gutierrez was also facing charges of tampering with evidence, however she was acquitted of these charges. The prosecutor claimed the 26-year-old had brought illegal narcotics on set, and this could have potentially led to her poor decision making. Prosecutor Carrie Morrissey also quoted several text messages from Gutierrez and others that referenced these narcotics. They also stated that she handed off a small bag of the illegal substance following her interview with law enforcement, but it appears that these claims were later dismissed. However, shocking videos from her interviews with law enforcement helped determine the verdict in her manslaughter charges. When she was presented with photos of the used ammunition, she was unable to tell if the rounds were real or fake. While her defense team argued that she was being used as a convenient scapegoat, it was quite clear that she never should have been in charge of such dangerous props. While the jurors wasted no time delivering their verdict to Halyna Gutierrez Reed, the situation is far from over. Alec Baldwin himself is still considered one of the many workers who did not perform the adequate safety checks on the firearms, and he's ultimately the person who fired the shot. The actor also happened to be one of the producers on the film, meaning that he was also responsible for ensuring that the necessary precautions were taken. Baldwin's manslaughter trial will take place in July, where his defense team will try to prove the actor's innocence. Now, an incident of this manner hasn't taken place on a film set since the tragic passing of Brandon Lee on the set of The Crow in 1993. While the firearm in that incident was loaded with blanks, the powder in the cartridge still ignited and fired a fragment. This also proves that the safety standards on Rust were well behind the times, and it was only a matter of time before a tragic incident occurred. Of course, this trial and investigation all stemmed from the horrific incident that took place on the set of Rust on October 21st, 2021. Alec Baldwin was practicing a cross draw, but did not realize the firearm he was using contained live ammunition. The resulting firearm blast led to the tragic passing of Halyna Hutchins and the prosecution of Halyna Gutierrez. While Gutierrez may not have had the intention to cause any harm to anyone, this terrible display of negligence resulted in a tragic loss of life that cannot be forgiven. She is now facing up to 18 months in prison, but a sentencing date is yet to be determined. What do you guys think about the verdict in this trial, and do you feel that Alec Baldwin could also be headed for a similar fate in July? Make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for all the latest updates.